Hello students, welcome to today's class. I am Bernisha, lecturer from Megaloblastic College of Pharmacy. Today I am going to explain about a topic Megaloblastic anemia, which is the classification of anemia. And today in this video we are going to briefly study about what is megaloblastic anemia, its etiology, pathogenesis, clinical manifestation along with their management. Okay, let's get into the video. First, let's see what is megaloblastic anemia. So, megaloblastic anemia is a group of anemia in which the erythroblasts in the bone marrow and RBC in the peripheral blood are large. Here, in the name itself, we can understand that megaloblastic. So, it's a mega-sized blast. So, erythroblast looks large in size than the normal size. Here, shows a characteristic abnormality. Usually, there will be some characteristic abnormality like that means the size of the red blood cells will be appears very large in size than the normal ones. Maturation of the nucleus being delayed relative to that of the cytoplasm. Actually, as the size of the erythroblasts were large, sometimes it may lead to slow maturation because it have large number of cytoplasm in it. The nuclear chromatin maintains an open, stippled, lacy appearance despite a normal HB formation, that is normal hemoglobin formation has such a chromatin formulations in the cytoplasm of erythroblasts as they mature. In megaloblastic anemia, the granulocytic and megakaryocytic maturation are also affected, and this leads to pancytopenia. Pancytopenia is a condition in which the red blood cells are most notably affected. This also impairs the maturation of granulocytes. Leads here mainly there will be some impairs of maturation of granulocytes and megakaryocytes, which may be in the white blood cells. That is, granulocytes are nothing but white blood cells, and the megakaryocytes are nothing but cells that produces the platelets. So the widespread failure leads to the pancytopenia, the shortage of all three blood cell types. And the next one is the megaloblastic dysbiosis. So this is another condition in which abnormal synthesis process itself. So it happens when DNA replication is slowed or interrupted, but RNA synthesis and cytoplasmic growth continue at a normal phase, resulting in a large unbalanced cells. Here, the DNA replication will interrupted, but the RNA synthesis and the cytoplasmic growth will continues as a normal phase. Here, what are the main causes for this megaloblastic anemias are folate deficiency or vitamin B12 deficiency. So, vitamin B12 is nothing but cobalamin, which is crucial for the nerve function and DNA productions, which is very important for the nerve function and DNA productions. Its deficiency often results from the dietary habits or absorptions like pernicious anemia. Then folate, which is known as vitamin B9, which is essential for making and repairing DNA. This is also their deficiencies due to poor diet and also alcoholism. Here in this megaloblastic conditions, the other rapidly proliferating cells in the body are also affected. Here administration of drugs that interfere with the DNA metabolism can be the cause of megaloblastic anemia. Sometimes the condition affects the rapidly proliferating cells throughout the body, most notably in the bone marrow, skin and gastrointestinal tracts. Sometimes we have already studied that the administration of drugs that may interfere with the DNA metabolism, which may also cause us the megaloblastic anemia. It is caused by the impaired DNA synthesis, but the RNA and protein synthesis relatively normal. Next, the main issue of depletion of deoxythymidine, that is DTTP, deoxythymidine triphosphate. There is the major cause for megaloblastic anemia, that is the replication or the depletion of deoxythymidine triphosphate, one of the four essential building blocks for the DNA. Once it is depleted, it finally fully depleted the DNA replication or the DNA formations. This resulting in the retarded mitosis or cell division is slowed or arrested, and typically in the S phase of the cell cycle, and otherwise it may leads to nuclear cytoplasmic asynchrony. That is, while the nucleus matures slowly due to the lack of DNA precursor, but the cytoplasm continues to grow, leading to a retarded nuclear maturations. This depletion of DTTP is most commonly caused by a deficiency of vitamin B12 or folic acid. Both the vitamin B12 and folic acid deficiency can cause this nuclear cytoplasmic asynchrony or retarded mitosis in DNA. Some of the certain drugs we have already learned what are the drugs which may interact with the DNA metabolisms, like methotrexate, hydroxyurea, that is chemotherapy agents which is mainly interfere with the DNA metabolism. Thus it rapidly decreases the proliferating cells in the body, and also some rare genetic condition can also affect the enzymes required for the DNA synthesis, such as orotic aciduria or thymine responsive megaloblastic anemia syndrome may also occur. These are the some of the genetic characters which also affects the DNA synthesis. Next one will be the vitamin B12. Next slide, we are going to see about what is vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 are synthesized in nature exclusively by the microorganisms. In animals, sometimes it may be obtained by consuming other animal-based foods. The chemical structure, which includes belonging to the group of compounds called cobalamides, and features of cobalt atom at the center of the choline ring, which is linked to a nucleotide portions. The dietary sources, that is the found in foods of animal origin, especially the liver, meat, fish, etc. It does not occur naturally in fruit, cereals or vegetables. So sometimes the vegetarians are really deficient to this vitamin B12. Here mainly, what are the absorption, how much needs to be taken daily. Here mainly the human requires approximately about 3 to 5 microgram of vitamin B12 daily, because only about 70% of the dietary B12 is absorbed. A daily intake of 5 to 7 microgram is recommended to meet the metabolic needs. Most standard diets provides an amount of B12 that exceeds these basic daily requirements. Here mainly how the absorption takes place. First, it will be bind with the intrinsic factors, that is IF. Vitamin B12 combines with the intrinsic factor, a glycoprotein synthesized and secreted by the gastric parietal cells in the stomach. Once it is get binds with the intrinsic factor, it forms a complex, that is IF B12 complex. That complex travels through the digestive tract, then to the small intestines. After that, in the distal ileum, the final section of that small intestine, the complex binds to a specific receptor called tubulin. So, it's bind to the distal ileum. Then, once it bound to the receptor, the vitamin B12 is absorbed into the bloodstream. First, it will binds with the um, intrinsic factor and form a complex, and after that complex will moves to the ileum, distal ileum, where it bonds to the certain receptor known as tubulin. Then the B12 is absorbed into the bloodstream. Once the B12 is absorbed into the bloodstreams, it is transporter proteins. Once the B12 is absorbed into the bloodstream from the intestinal mucosal cells, it binds to the transport proteins, especially transcobalamin 2. A genetic lack of transcobalamin 2 prevents B12 from reaching tissues, which can result in megaloblastic anemia. Sometimes a genetic some disorders are there. It can there will be the lack of transcobalamin 2, which prevents the B12 from binding to the certain tissues, reaching to the certain tissues, which result in megaloblastic anemia. Further, when the B12 is then carried to the bone marrow or to the liver, where it is stored for a long time. use. So this is the absorption mechanism of vitamin B12. Next will be the causes of vitamin B12 deficiency. First will be the inadequate intake of external factor, insufficient consumption of external food sources which containing the vitamin B12, which will be primarily the fish products, meat and dairy products can cause us the vitamin B12 deficiency. And another will be the parasitic interference like fish worms, which is invasion by a fish tapeworm, especially the Diphyllobotherium latum in the intestines. These worms absorb the vitamin B12 and disturbing the regular absorptions. And then next will be the intrinsic factor malabsorption, that is impairment occurring when there is a defect of lack of intrinsic factor, a crucial transport protein secreted by the stomach parietal cells required for the B12 uptake in the small intestines. Sometimes there will be some disturbed metabolisms, that is like systematic disruption in how the body processes and metabolizes the vitamin down to the cellular level. Next will from age from 50 to 55 years of age, vitamin B12 is harder to observe. Individuals age 50 to 55 years and older experience natural changes in the stomach, acid and enzymes, making it much harder to extract and absorb the vitamin B12 from food. So we have to make some supplementation important. And next will be the chronic alcoholism. Chronic alcoholism is nothing but some of the people may um, very addicted towards the alcoholism. So the chronic alcoholism will also disturb the absorption of vitamin B12. Thus, it may cause us the vitamin B12 deficiency. And the next one will be the liver damage by hepatitis. As we know that liver will store this vitamin B12 for the long period of time. Due to the hepatitis problem, the liver gets damaged, so that the vitamin B12 will be um, damaged from the storage conditions. So these are the main causes of vitamin B12 deficiency. Next will be the folic acid. This folic acid is a terryl glutamic acid which is synthesized from the synthetic form of vitamin B9. As it is a folic acid is the synthetic form of vitamin B9 which is commonly found in the fortified foods and supplements, which is mainly present in eggs, milks, yeast and liver. It is also abundant in green leafy vegetables and synthesized by many microorganisms. Usually, it is essential for producing healthy red blood cells and prevents megaloblastic anemia and prevents and condition where this nutrient is crucial for the pregnant women also. Some these folic acid is mainly destroyed by the heat. So humans are unable to synthesize the folate structure. Thus, it requires a preformed folate. Thus, pregnant women are suggested to take the folic acid supplement during their pregnancy. Absorption, transport and function of folic acid. Here mainly the dietary folates passes through the upper small intestine and there they converted into methyl tetrahydrofolate, which is the primary transport form in the blood. So next it will moves on to folates, enters the target cells. They are converted into polyglutamates. This change traps the folate inside the cells and allows it to function as a coenzymes in metabolic processes. Then the humans lack in the ability to synthesize this folate. They must consume approximately 50 microgram per day to maintain the health. These folates are very much essential for the carbon metabolism. Usually it is used in the conversion of homocysteine to methionine. So it is very much important in the biochemical reaction as a cofactors or enzymes. Next will be the causes of folic acid deficiency. What are the causes of this folic acid deficiency? Mainly, the inadequate diet is a major cause, occurs most often in the poor, elderly, and alcoholics. The people with the poor conditions may have some economic burdens to um, meet their nutrition. So sometimes there may be causes the inadequate in the malnutrition. And next will be the elderly people. The elderly people also shows variation in their gastric acid secretions. Thus, it may also affect the absorptions of vitamin B9. And the next will be the alcoholics. The alcoholic people also have no informations or no concentrations on their nutritional balanced diet. Next will be the mole absorption. Some of the mole absorption caused by tropical spore or large worm that absorbs the folic. Some of the tapeworm inside the intestines will absorb this vitamin B9, so it may affect the um, absorption of vitamin B9. Excess utilization which may physiological or pathological. Excess utilization by our body will also leads to the folic acid deficiency. Next will be the physiological conditions, that is the pregnancy and lactation period, prematurity, growth in children, or the pathological conditions. So physiological condition leads to the pregnancy and lactation period, prematurity, or growth in children. These are certain factors which affects the physiological conditions of our body, and thus these physiological conditions may cause us the folic acid deficiency. And the next will be the pathological conditions. There will be the hematologic diseases such as hemolytic anemia with the destruction of RBCs. So different types of malignancies, that is carcinoma, lymphoma, may also occurs. And then next will be the inflammatory conditions, that is rheumatoid arthritis or dermatitis, TB, or also occurs due to this folic acid. These are the conditions which may cause us these folic acid deficiencies. And otherwise the systemic infections such as malaria. So malignancies, inflammatory conditions, and infectious diseases such as malaria can cause us the folic acid deficiency. Otherwise, increased loss such as patients undergoing hemodialysis. If the patient is undergoing hemodialysis, he may have the folic acid deficiency. Otherwise, drug inhibitions. Examples are oral contraceptives, anticoagulant drugs, alcohols, and isoniazid. These are the some drugs which may affect the folic acid absorptions. Thus, it may cause us the folic acid deficiency in our body. Next will be the pathogenesis of megaloblastic anemia. The pathogenesis of megaloblastic anemia can be understood easily by this morphological hallmark of presence of megaloblast, enlarged erythroid precursors, that gives rise to abnormally large red cells. This is the main occurrence that happens in the pathogenesis of megaloblastic anemias. Here first, the defect slows down the nuclear maturation and hinders the normal cell divisions. So here the granulocyte precursor also increased in size. This will defects the DNA synthesis and undergoes defect in nuclear maturation and hinders the normal cell divisions. Here the nuclear cytoplasmic asynchrony. This is the most critical concept. While the nuclear lax begins due to poor DNA synthesis, but RNA and cytoplasmic elements continue to develop at a normal rate. Because the cytoplasm outpaces the nucleus, the cell grows excessively large before it is ready to divide, resulting in the characteristic large cells. This condition is known as cytoplasmic asynchrony. Next, there will be that due to the defective DNA synthesis, many immature red blood cells, that is, the megaloblast, are recognized as abnormal and undergoes apoptosis. Apoptosis means the cell undergoes death before they can even leave the bone marrow. This results in the cells that do not manage to mature undergoes fewer cell divisions or cell cycles. These result in a significantly lower overall output of circulating red blood cells. This is known as ineffective hematopoiesis. That is, due to this defective DNA synthesis, the cells may undergo apoptosis before it leaving the bone marrow. That is, the cells may undergo cell death. Next, after that, the granulocyte and the platelet precursors also affected, so that the patients may undergo pancytopenia. That is, there will be thrombocytopenia, granulocytopenia, and anemia. That is, three blood cells will be affected. Three blood cells precursors will be affected, so that there will be deficiency in the three blood cells. So it may undergo pancytopenia. So this is the pathogenesis of megaloblastic anemia. Next will be the clinical features of vitamin B deficiency. What will be the clinical manifestations or symptoms? First will be the fatigue, weakness, palpitations during physical exertions. Fatigue means extreme tiredness or weakness. Palpitation means like um, mm, complete tiredness with some uh, extreme tiredness during the physical exercises. These are the general for the all types of anemia. Usually, it will be similar to all the types of anemia. Glossitis. Patients have polished tongues. So beefy red tongue with burning sensations which are very painful. When we are seeing the when we are diagnosing the patients, we can see that their tongue will be like a polished. So that condition is known as glossitis. Next will be the small increase of spleen size. The spleen size will be increased. May be mildly jaundiced from excess breakdown of hemoglobin due to increase in defective erythropoiesis. There will be mildly jaundiced from excess breakdown of HB due to increase in defective erythropoiesis. Next will be the mild symptoms of malabsorption with loss of weight of patients. So there will, if there is a malabsorption, which may lead to decrease in the nutrition intake, which may undergo the loss of weight in patients. Patients may have purpura due to thrombocytopenia, that is the lack of platelets. And another will be the hyperpigmentation or hypopigmentation of the skin, usually seen on soles and palms of patients and less frequently across small joints and hands and feet. Hyperpigment, sometimes there will be hyperpigmentation or hypopigmentations and near usually seen in the small joints of hands and feet. And next will be in severe cases, we can see the progressive neural fatigue with loss of sensation of hands and legs and feet. You can usually feels a numbness in the hands, legs and feet in severe cases of vitamin B12 deficiency. Next will be the laboratory findings. We can see the bone marrow is hypercellular and we can see the megaloblast, large erythroblast, many during dying erythroblast, abnormally shaped metameliocytes and large insides. So here we can find that in laboratory findings we can see a large erythroblast, megaloblast and abnormally shaped metameliocytes which will be in extra large in size. Next will be the clinical features of folic acid deficiencies, which is quite similar to the vitamin B12 deficiency, but there will be no neurological problems. Here will be increased susceptibility to different infection due to neutropenia, may develop immune deficiency. There will be no neurological problem, but from immune deficiency. Long-standing causes may hyperpigmentation of skin and do not develop neuropathy. Features are weaker in folic acid deficiency than in vitamin B12 deficiency. When compared to vitamin B12 deficiency, the symptoms as well as the as well as the um, clinical features were weaker than the vitamin B12 deficiency. Next will be the treatment. What are the treatments? Mostly only therapy with the appropriate vitamin. We have to give an appropriate vitamin as a treatment. If a large doses of folic acid, that is example of 5 milligram per day, are given as vitamin B12 deficiency, they cause hematological response but may aggravate the neuropathy. So here we have to give the appropriate nutrition, such as we have to take a 5 milligram per day of folic acid. They should therefore not be given alone unless vitamin B12 has been excluded. So here the main therapy is to appropriate vitamin, and we have to take proper diet. Proper diet is the major thing in the vitamin for B9 deficiency or folic acid deficiency. Next will be in severely anemic patients who need the treatment urgently. It may be safer to initiate treatment with both vitamins after blood has been taken for B12 and folate estimation and the bone marrow test has been performed. First, if you are taking only for the vitamin B9 deficiency, we have to perform the bone marrow test first, and for severe anemic patients, we have to initiate the treatment with both vitamin B12 and vitamin B9. In the elderly patients, the presence of heart failure should be corrected with the diuretics. During this anemic patients, the heart failure can be corrected with the diuretics. And the next will be the blood transfusion, which will be taken in a later stage. Only if it is necessary only we have to do this blood transfusion, because it may causes the circulatory overload or it may leads to congestive heart failure. So in order to prevent that conditions, we have to check whether it is necessary to do the blood transfusions. So these are the main treatments which will be given for managing the folic acid deficiency. Okay, in this video we have learned about what is megaloblastic anemia, how they are, what are the pathogenesis, what is their etiology, and what are the dietary sources we have to follow to maintain this folic acid deficiency, and along with what are the managements or what are the treatments we are to taken to treat this folic acid deficiency. I hope you all have learned completely about the megaloblastic anemia. Okay, students, we came to the end of the video. In this video, we completely learned about megaloblastic anemia. Megaloblastic anemia is nothing but the anemia in this, the erythroblasts will be larger in size than that of the normal. It is mainly due to some of the genetic conditions or as the folic acid deficiencies, which may distract the DNA synthesis of the nucleus, but the RNA synthesis and the cytoplasmic properties will be there, and thus it creates a large RBCs or erythroblast or megaloblast. This is the megaloblastic anemia conditions. We have learned about their pathogenesis along with their clinical manifestation, clinical features, and their management. I hope you all have learned about this megaloblastic anemia. Let's see in the next video with the good information about another disease. Thank you.